Welcome to the Founders Podcast. Our new name is now here. BBA Podcast is no more. It is now Founders because we founded this league, and we're not ashamed to say it.
Also, you're just not part of. You just have kind of no say in the BBA, so we will get sued if we use the BBA. So
exactly, we are just the Founders. We are no longer the Adam Silver, Mark Tatum, James Naismith. Actually, we are just James Naismith. We get the copyright, but we don't get the lease to the property.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. This
handed it over. We handed over the keys to the Golden City to Jackie Peepcorn, but now we get to criticize and talk about it as much as we want.
I'm gonna channel my inner Skip in this, so
yeah, Stephen A. Smith is gonna be coming out every now and then,
Death
Beam. The birthdays did what?
I can't wait to reenact the Death Beam joke that Max Kellerman made. That's my that's my favorite quote when he's like, "When Death Beam's pointed at Earth, I want Iguodala." That's my favorite one.
Everyone wants.
I'll find a way. I'm gonna find a way.
So, if people are new here and don't know who we are, we graduated in 2020. We created this league in 2018. We had a lot of fun with it. I was the Quad B captain, and Reed was the electric guitars captain. We got Jackie on board for the birthdays, and then another senior who didn't work out so well named Andrew Fong, who had a horrible team and a horrible record, and passed it on to another person with another horrible team and horrible record, and now it's turned into the Fellow Yellows. We'll do another brief history lesson later with Reed Mitchell, but for now, we're going to be digging into In the Mood. What is our In the Mood topic today?
So, our In the Mood topic, since we are getting closer to summer and vaccinations are underway in the U.S., Benjamin, what are you most excited to do once you are fully vaccinated?
Disneyland. I want to go right now. I actually just got fully vaccinated and inoculated last week. And I already gone to a Lakers game, so next is Disneyland. And then getting to friends, we got to get back together as long as they're safe. And hopefully people take the vaccine seriously so we can not repeat what just happened last year.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's important to get the vaccines, especially with all the scary little variants going around. I think for me, my thing, go to an Angel game. Go to an Angel game. I think, I've missed going to that. I went to a Oregon baseball game because I go to Oregon. That's not mine, that's my roommate's. But I went to an Oregon baseball game. It was cool, but I really want to go back to Angel Stadium. And I think, like you said, hanging out with friends. I think it's kind of crazy that one of the last things that I did with my friends was go see Sonic. That was the last major thing I remember. I mean, probably more, but we saw Sonic. And then, it would be cool to go see a movie. In the Heights comes out the Friday before I get back. So gonna have to do that. So anyway, I think moving on, we're gonna be talking about, briefly about, the NBA, whatever. Specifically, we're gonna be talking about the play-in tournament, which is added this year. For those of you who don't know, 1 through 6 seeds in each conference, they make the playoffs. The 7 through 10 seeds make the play-in. So how the play-in tournament will work is that the 7 and 8 seeds and the 9 and 10 seeds will play each other in one game. Whoever wins between the 7 and 8 seeds are the 7 seed, and then play the 2 seed in the playoffs. The loser of that game has to play the winner of the 9 and 10 game for the right to play the 1 seed as the 8 seed. A lot of numbers there, but basically, you're not in the playoffs as you're 7 through 10. You have a chance to make it, though. So, Ben, what are you going to be looking forward to in the play-in tournaments? Just going for the last week and a half in the NBA, because we're almost there.
The Lakers and Warriors, 2 teams that have been dominant in the past few seasons. Warriors at different points, Lakers more recently. They have now turned it on, both of them. And they're both probably going to make a play-in tournament game, which is scary for both Lakers and Warriors fans, and even scarier for the people who will be in the 1 and 2 seed.
I agree. Phoenix and Utah, I mean, they're doing great this year. They might have to play Steph Curry or LeBron James, so that's scary. I think. Oh, you go ahead.
And the game last night for the Lakers, absolutely insane for Anthony Davis. Not that I'm a fan or anything of Anthony Davis. I don't even know who the Brow is. Like, why is he called the Brow? I don't know. I have
Ben,
no
can
idea.
you move your head to a little to the left?
I have no idea why, who this guy is, how tall he is, or where he went to school. I mean, I don't know, but absolutely insane. He's a beast in the paint. He was unmatched. DeAndre Ayton couldn't defend him at all. I watched. He tried. He couldn't do it. And Ayton's good in the paint. People know, like, he can block that shot. He will send it across the court if he has to. He couldn't do that to Anthony Davis. It was impossible because Anthony Davis is just way better. And Devin Booker could not shoot a thing because the defense on the Lakers was too good.
Well, the Lakers had their, that's a good game for them considering how their struggles have been. Interesting to note there is that both the Mavericks and the Trailblazers have the tiebreaker over the Lakers. So the Lakers, I think, have 30 losses. The Blazers have 29. They're the 6th seed. The Lakers are the 7th seed. So the Lakers really need Portland to lose two more games to them for them to be able to make it. So that's going to be interesting to watch. I'll move it over to the Eastern Conference. The Boston Celtics are the 7th seed right now.
How is that possible?
I think that's crazy. I think if you look at 8 through 9, there's not really any surprises. I think Charlotte's the biggest surprise there. But LaMelo's actually done well. They actually, and even besides LaMelo, they actually have a good core around them. But the Boston Celtics, who some consider to be one of the best teams in the East, I for sure thought so. They're the 7th seed, 2 games behind Miami. I don't know the tiebreakers there, but the Boston Celtics, they're going to be in the play-in tournament. That's shocking to me. And also, here's my obligatory: how the heck are the Knicks the 4th seed?
How are they there? How did they do it?
I thought they would be in the play-in. Nope, they are the 4th seed. But anyway, back to Boston. I mean, they have Tatum, they have Brown, Marcus Smart. I mean, they have a great. They have like 2 of the best wings in Brown and Tatum. I think also breaking news: Brown is out. I believe is out for the season. With he. Let me pull this up. Breaking news in front of Woj himself.
Hold on, I gotta go to the Discord.
Yes, Celtics star forward needs surgery to repair a torn ligament in his left wrist and will miss the rest of the season. I don't know if that's playoffs or not. Or includes playoffs or not, but I mean, they're going to have to, if they want to catch the Heat or the Hawks, they're going to have to do it without one of their star forwards. So that's our play-in tournament. I just got the notification from Woj himself, so,
I get it. Why do I not have notification?
Anyway, Ben, I
should be aware of these things.
I know, Ben. I think there's a new segment we're gonna do. So you want to
the Woj segment? No.
Bro, imagine we get Woj on here. He tells us news. That'd be cool. Anyway,
but no, the real news segment that we've got going on is I'm so excited for this. It's history time with Reed.
Yes, sir. It's I am gonna go through history. Since we're gonna be focusing on the BBA draft, we're gonna talk about the history of the draft. So basically, the BBA has had a draft every year it's been in existence. It started in 2018. It was at my house. If you can find a picture of that, definitely have a picture of that. I had a visor on there. I believe it was it was me, Ben, Jackie, and I think Kyle was there because Andrew couldn't make it. But we can talk about how the draft works. So essentially, what we do: worst team picks first as the draft should be, and then we keep going until there's no more slots to make. Now it just the amount of draft picks depends on what does the like how many slots need to fill. So anyway, without the boring stuff, we'll start with the first draft 2018. So first we picked co-captains first. So the co-captains were, and this is for the birthdays, horns, quad B, and guitars. These are the horns, one of the starter teams. So the first picks were the birthdays picked Nick Ruiz, horns picked Kyle Heineken, quad B picked Corbin Madden, guitars picked Neha Sharda, and those were the co-captains for that year. So now I'll say the actual first picks, because we already knew who our co-captains would be. The first picks for the birthday ever was Johnny Kim. For the horns, it was Christian Roberts. For quad B, it was Caleb Yoon. And for guitars, it was Jacob Ing. I'm just reading off a sheet. Yeah, so those were the first people ever picked.
Wait, Johnny Kim for the birthdays?
It looks like Johnny Kim that's what it says on me. We could be wrong, but
that means Caleb and Johnny Kim got traded then, huh? Because I remember. Wow, that's crazy.
I know. There's a lot of people on this list that I feel like were traded, but we're not going to focus on them. We're going to focus on move to 2019 now. We're going to talk about that draft. It was a little bit big. Actually, it wasn't as big, but it was definitely more important. Quad B only had one pick in that draft, just to say. And let's go through everyone's first pick. So the Cheese Balls, which was Cody's team, the team who replaced the horns. The horns. Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Ben. They chose Caleb Kim, and in the birthdays with their first pick, chose Ian Kim. So not related, but you'll see later. It's going to be interesting. And then Neil Azimi was the first pick for the guitars, and for for the Josh Garcelons, Quad B was the first. No, I'm kidding. Quad B chose Josh Garcelon with their only pick in the draft. So I think that's interesting. So Ben, what are your thoughts on those?
I am still to this day confused why he picked Neil in that first round. Because it gave someone the opportunity. What was the second round in that draft? Who got picked?
You're gonna love this. So the
Cheese Balls picked
Nolan Gus. No, Cheese Balls picked Nolan Gus.
Right.
Birthdays picked Melissa Perez, and then we got Mike Brett. So I think I'll explain my reasoning.
That's exactly right.
I think Neil was a freshman at the time. I was thinking of him as was he a freshman at the? He was a freshman at the time.
Yes, he was.
I would think of it as a more long-term project because, I like Neil. He's a good guy. And he said that he played basketball before. He was rusty. I was like, hey, if he can play basketball a little bit, I think he can be good pickup to the team. And Mike was just a beast. And also Ben, you want to hear something? The third round in that draft.
Yeah, what happened in the third round?
Okay, the Cheese Balls picked Joseph Size.
Oh,
the birthdays picked Mark Bailey, and then the Electric Cars picked Dean McBride. And then
Dean was the last pick
for me, but then the Cheese Balls started to pick CJ and Nick Reed. So
okay,
so they picked.
I have something to say about the Mark and Dean thing now.
Yeah,
Dean and Mark are now two of the best players in the league. That goes to show. True. That goes to show how deep these drafts can go. Because Caleb and Ian are definitely better. No offense, Mark and Dean, but they've got it wrapped. Those two in the top three were easy to do. But Mark and Dean, if we redrafted that would be the whole draft would be rearranged if we redrafted it today.
I know, and if you think about the picks. So Caleb, Kim, Mark, Bailey, and Dean McBride, they all went on to become captains for a period. At least Mark for a period of time, but now Ian and Caleb are captains of their own teams. So I think that's also mentioned. And another thing to mention in 2018, if we're talking about late round picks. So in 2018, we had a policy where band kids first and then friends and family, whatever, to pick, just because it was the Band Basketball Association. That means let me find it right here. Yeah. So Scott Mitchell went 21st to the birthdays, and then Ryan Daylor, who went 26th to the horns, and a lot of other people who played, such as Johnny USA. And I think that's it. Those guys went, later in the draft, but that was just because of the circumstances at the time. So that's also an interesting thing to mention. Now, move on to last year's draft. So the fellow Yellows picked first, the newest team on the block. And once again, Quad B, one pick. I think that's pretty funny. The Birthdays had 3 picks. The fellow Yellows had 2. So did the Guitars. So, with the first pick, Caleb was the captain of the fellow Yellows, just to mention that. He still is the captain, and Ian Kim actually is the co-captain. So Ben, think about it. The 1 and 2 picks of the 2019 draft are on the same team. So that's crazy to think about, isn't it?
It seems unfair, but it's, they did it well. Like, you use the rules and you follow them correctly. Like, it gets you somewhere.
Well, the rich got richer, had the first pick. Elijah Min was chosen. For the Birthdays, Andrew Law was chosen. Guitars, Enzo Law, so the twins. And then Preston Jiang was chosen 4th by Quad B. And then a notable name to mention, I will mention, was that Ishwari was picked 6th by the B-Days. She's now the captain of Quad B. So, Ben, what are your thoughts on this draft? It was definitely a lot smaller than the previous draft, but what are your thoughts on this?
It was small. I mean, the draft class, I don't think, was smaller than the last one. Maybe it was, but the draft form was, I mean, we had plenty of people who stuck around, even during a pandemic. Got shut down eventually, but, even during a pandemic, enough people showed up where we didn't need that many spots to fill.
That is true.
And, I mean, while there were some people in the reserves that definitely deserved a spot, they might get one this year. Like Ben Bourgeois is in this year's draft that will be coming up very soon. And there's a lot of new faces, ones that I've never met before, sophomores, freshmen alike, even a junior in there. And that's, I mean, even last year there was a senior in Robert Schouten, plenty of freshmen. Was there any sophomores in that draft? I don't even remember.
In 2020? I don't know if there were. I'm not going to lie. I think it was mostly freshmen. The freshman class was big, so that's why it was a big class. But yeah, also just to mention, each BBA team has eight people on a team. So that's why, there's different spots for each one, or that's why everyone has different picks, just because they need to fill out that 8. So that concludes our history of the draft. So as we have 3 drafts so far, I would say 2 real drafts. And now we're moving on to the 2021 draft, which would be the fourth draft in BBA history. With Ben, can we get that draft order going?
Yes. So this is a really interesting one, Reed, and you're gonna like it because the Guitars have the most picks in this draft as opposed to other years. So it's the Birthdays, the fellow Yellows, Quad B, and Guitars. This format is very similar to what it was a couple of years ago, where the Guitars had the best record, so they get the last pick, and the records stand going downward. So the worst record was the Birthdays, unfortunately, so they deserved the first pick. And the Yellows and Quad B were right in the middle. They were actually tied at one point in the season, but Quad B just had the better record, and the Yellows get the second pick, Quad B the third. This goes again in the second round for the Birthdays, the fellow Yellows, Quad B, and Guitars. The Quad B pick in the second round might not be necessary due to a roster addition that has not been confirmed yet in Zach Hirose.
Woj bomb? Question mark?
So if Zach Hirose decides to leave because he's going to Arizona State, congratulations to Zach, by the way. Might see you there next year. But if he decides not to play in the BBA, Quad B gets another pick in the second round. But Guitars get the 4th pick in the 2nd round and the only pick in the 3rd round. So back for the electric guitars. And I'll put it up on a screen so everyone can see the order.
So only 3 rounds. I think we had only. Is that our shortest draft? I believe it might. It could be. Let me check. Because that's only 9 picks, I believe. Correct? Or
that is nine picks, which is very similar to last year's amount of people that we needed.
Yeah, we actually had 8 picks. So this is the second fewest number of people. So that'll be interesting to see. To see how that plays out, especially with the guitars. I mean, the guitars have 3 picks. I mean, I'll let you in on a little secret. As the captain, when I was captain of guitars, I made sure to make my team so that we had 2 of each class. So it wasn't like, skewed in one direction. So like if there's one year like 5 people left, we wouldn't be screwed. So that's where you see like the 3. I don't know where the 3 came from, but me and Dade were left. So, I mean, that's a little secret. But Ben, who are the people who are going to get drafted this year? I want to know who are the people who are.
So, I want to mention one thing here because I'm proud of this accomplishment by Jackie Peepcorn, especially. The sax section has never produced this much talent in one season of the BBA. There will be, Reed, 1, 2, 3, 4 people in this draft that have played saxophone. And there will be 3 captains already. And we're not even mentioning the people who are already in the league that play saxophone, like Preston.
It's becoming a sax-dominated league.
That is at least 8 people that have played saxophone in the BBA.
That can just be an all-star team, the sax team.
And actually, Elijah, too, that's 9. So, I don't know. You could definitely make a whole team with a reserve of sax section. So Patrick is a sax member. He's a freshman. He's a little smaller than most of the other people, but he likes to hustle across the court. He plays majority of defense. He doesn't touch the ball a whole lot, but during the game that we saw, there's a lot of ball dominant players that didn't get him a lot of time. So we don't know his full potential, but we know he can hustle across the court and really wants to try to win. Ben Bourgeois, the only trombone in the draft, he tried in 2020, but fell short to the reserves list. He is a shooter that we have seen go very well before. I was surprised he didn't get drafted in 2020. I would have if I had a pick, but it's how it happened. He's underrated, I think. He should be drafted this season without a doubt.
Trombones are great. Just have to say that.
Nick Clements is another quick guard, shorter than most players. He can pass it really well. I saw him do this during the combine. He's played basketball before. I don't think his shooting is up to what Ben Bourgeois has, but I think he's a good guard to add and can probably play some good defense in the zone if you need him to. Roma, I've not seen her in the combine. She's a flute player, and that's all I know about her. I know that I think people know her, like Ashwari might know her, but that's all I've got.
Is there another flute who plays?
I don't think there's another flute in the BBA. This would be the only one. Maybe one of the first.
The only one that I think Bailey played, and then Mike played when he was in the band. But
Bailey Reed did play, and is Mike on the guitars right now?
I cannot answer that. I'm not the captain, so I don't know. I saw Mike
but he's
playing
also not
at
a flute
the game
anymore. So
yeah, so he doesn't really count. But I mean, I think that would be the only flute.
It will be the only flute in the league since Bailey Reed and Mike Brent.
if we are wrong on this, I'm sorry to the flute who's out there.
I'm sorry
Actually,
to the
no.
one flute.
Well, Enzo hasn't played yet. Enzo,
And yeah, come on, Enzo, where you at? Where are you, man? Gotta play.
See, this is why we need to get vaccinated so the laws can play.
This is interesting, Reed. There are 3 color guard draft picks.
Color guard?
3
really?
color guard players entering the draft.
Actually,
one of them, Reed, being Emma Naranjo, Evan's little sister.
Yes, that's cool.
We know who this is because of her older brother. We played with him in band a couple of years. He was fun. But the first guard member is Brianna. She also didn't show up to the combine. We don't know much about her. She's a sophomore who's in color guard. And Melissa might know more, so there might be a happy birthday connection that we're not aware of. Bella is the oldest person in this draft. She's a junior, not in band. She's someone I know who has her own car. I don't know her basketball skill. She's dating Michael Turner. Michael Turner's not in the BBA, which is a tragedy. Because he would be good. Andrew Chun is here, but I think he's a reserve. As far as we know, Andrew Chun's a reserve. If that changes, the whole entire draft will change. Beekman is a color guard member. He's a little taller than majority of the people here. He's got some longer arms that I've seen. I don't think he showed up to the combine. He's in color guard, though. And anyone who can toss a flag probably can toss a ball.
Yeah. And I do have to say credit to Melissa Perez. She's the guard captain. And I mean, if color guard people are joining, I would say, I don't know, but I would think it's up to her. So, I mean, credits to her for getting people to join. That's also cool. So, and also congrats to color guard. I think they won first place at their competition. So
they did do that.
So kudos.
The next draft pick here is Adrian. Adrian is a sax player, not the trombone one, Reed. I'm sorry. He's not in the draft. This Adrian is a freshman who is probably one of the tallest people we have, but plays as a small forward. And is quick on his feet. He plays basketball at the school right now.
He actually plays.
He plays in the combine. He turned around in the post. His layup package was insane. He is undoubtedly one of the first 2 picks in the draft this year. There's no doubt he was that good. Emma Naranjo, we talked about her earlier. She's a little shorter than everyone else, but that will not limit her potential in this league. Crystal, the most underrated player in the draft.
Ooh, you're
the most underrated player this draft.
Why do you say that, Ben?
People think that the guys in this league do a lot better. People think that, but this year, Crystal's going to prove them all wrong.
I will admit that I watched a couple of the draft game that they had, and the 2 people that stood out to me were Adrian and Crystal, because I believe like Caleb was playing in that as well, and there's other people who were in the BPA, but the 2 new faces that stood out to me because I've never seen it was Adrian and Crystal. They were very good on the offensive end. They knew what they were doing, which is a step up from most of the people who played BBA. Sometimes we didn't get people who were on the court kind of like standing around. But those people knew who they look confident. So I was like, they knew what guys are player ballers. They were. I mean, I'm excited for this one. They seems like a lot of good basketball players.
He seems like she can shoot from anywhere. Her shooting form was flawless. I didn't see any problems with it. It went in every time she tried to pull something up. She should be first 3, no matter what. She should be. I don't know if she will, but she should be. And the last person, Reed, is our favorite, Jeremy Mesa from Percussion.
Mesa.
We finally have a percussionist in the BBA.
That's this Ben. Think hard about this. Think hard about this. Do you want to say that again?
No, I don't. Dean
anyway, let's see.
I got Dean.
And Julia too.
But we finally got another one that actually, close to everyone else. Jeremy, finally.
So that will be interesting to see.
I have another thing to say about Crystal Reed. She has something that puts her above everyone else.
Oh, what?
She has this logo on her saxophone case.
Oh, she's using your saxophone?
Using my saxophone.
That's pretty funny. You know how funny it would be if she go to the guitars then? Bro, that would be so funny. If she goes to the guitars, I will literally be like, please get a sticker and put it on the saxophone case.
I guarantee you that there's no way that she can go past 1, 2, or 3 in this draft. True. There's no way.
You keep talking about top 3. Who do you think are the top 3 in the draft?
I have my top 9, Reed. If you want to hear them, my top 4 or 5.
Top 9?
My top 5, I'm pretty confident in. My top 9, I can see it happen.
You've done so much research on this.
I do research and it pays off. So
your top 5.
So, speaking of doing research properly, that did not happen. Reed and I will be acting like we know what we're talking about for the rest of this video. But in fact, we are clueless to what is true. The draft day, for example, we have no idea when it was. Now we do. It's May 16th, this Sunday. And it's going to be on Instagram Live. It's going to be streamed from Dean McBride's house. All 4 captains will be there. And Reed and I will do some podcast afterwards. That is all that we have there. But also roster spots. Jackie has informed me this morning that each team now has 3 open spots that they're going to be drafting for. So when we say that there's going to be someone that won't be picked up in the draft, that's simply not true. We didn't know it at the time. It was the format that we received, but Jackie got updated earlier. So now I'm updating everyone here and myself because what I say later on is going to be false, but it's still a really fun show. We did dig deep a little into the draft. I think it'll be interesting for people to watch. But the last 3 people that didn't make it, they will be making it onto a team, no matter what. So congratulations to the draft class, and I hope you have fun in the BBA Season 4.
Birthdays. I spoke to Jackie a little bit, so I wouldn't call this cheating, but she has been considering 2 people, which is a mystery to me because she should only be considering this one person. Adrian needs to be going number 1.
Adrian,
I've not seen anyone with this much potential since Caleb Kim. And he's insane in this league.
That's a high standard to live up
to. Scott Mitchell is another person I would compare this one to, except this one knows the limits.
Wow, that's impressive. Shooting. That's impressive that you're comparing him to just 2 people.
He can dribble, he can drive, and he knows how. He spun on his foot in the paint. Like, he used his pivot in the paint. Like, he did a layup package that went around, like a 180 turn in the paint. Impressive. He's going number 1. Number 2, it's between 2 people. I think Nick Clements goes number 2. This is weird. I know this is weird, but I'm basing this off of relationships and people. I don't think he should be. This is someone I think will. And it will help the fellow Yellows out, I think, in an area that they need is more passing and a little bit more defense. And I think Clements brings that because they have the shooting, they have the post they need the passing to get to the post, and Clemens knows where to pass the ball. And I think that's someone they like. Ian and Caleb can do it, but having 3 is better than 2, and Clemens can do that for them. And now quad B. This is where Crystal goes. Crystal goes quad B right here because Ishwari and Crystal, that's a relationship we know is true. She's gonna bring the other female Sacs into quad B and just have a reign of terror of shooting performances at mid-range on quad B.
Okay.
Preston, Crystal, Scott, and then you got the rebounding of Josh Garcelon. I don't think you can beat this team.
And also the mention, I just realized that Josh is the only tall guy left. Sean's gone, isn't he?
I think Sean's leaving. Yeah, that's why there's 2 spots. Sean and I both left. So Preston's there. If Zach stays, there's no one who can beat this team in the league. You have shooting from everywhere. And if Scott learns to pass the ball a little bit more, Kobe, less Kobe Bryant-esque, we can find this will be a championship team. And the floor will be spread. I don't know what you can do with it. But the Qatars, with the next pick, will have an upper edge in the shooting game after Reed Mitchell leaves. Ben Bourgeois should be going 4th.
It would reunite him and Gary. Trombone power.
The relationship between the Qatars and Ben Bourgeois is strong. I don't think there's a reason for them not to pick him up. He improves every aspect of their team that they missed with Reed and Daylor leaving. There's no reason for Ben Bourgeois not to be picked right here. And then this is where guesswork comes in because I don't know these people, but I'm sure that with Melissa and Jackie's ear that a guard person will go 5th with the birthday option. So I think Beekman, being the tallest out of all the guard people that they've got, might be the 5th pick. Because they lack size on the birthdays. Not to say that Jackie isn't tall. I'm just saying I don't think she'll be in the paint going up against Josh Garcelon anytime soon. I think this guy can do it. I don't know his ability, but I know he's taller than most of the other people in the league. I think the Yellows now pick someone else up that matches their chemistry. I think this is where Jeremy Mesa goes in the draft. He lands here.
That's an interesting pick. I think I like that one.
I don't know his skill. I know he has a lot of talk, but I think that's what the Yellows need is a lot of talk, a lot of smack. And he can bring that to the team. I don't think another team will bond with Jeremy as much as this team. It's a good fit. I think the Qatars or Quad B would pick him up later if he doesn't go here, especially Qatars because they have 2 picks to put on him. But I think fellow Yellows can pick him up and not have risk to injury. I think Quad B picks up another color guard person here in Emma Naranjo. Just because Ishwari and Emma know each other, I think this is something where a prior relationship will come into play. And for the last 2 picks, Dean McBride will have to do his best to guess who will be the best fit for him. Because I don't think he knows who Patrick, Brianna, or Roma are. And I'm not sure he'll take the risk on Bella. He can't on Andrew Chun right now. And if Andrew Chun goes in, Reed, Clemens isn't going 2nd. Crystal isn't going 3rd. Actually, no, Crystal will go 3rd. Clemens just won't go 2nd. It'll be Andrew Chun going 2nd if he's in the draft.
So that's your mock draft right there.
This is my mock draft. I think Patrick and Brianna will be the final 2 because I don't think Dean will pick a flute. I think he's biased, but
that's interesting. That's an interesting one. I will say I'm not going to say anything about. I will say that I think that from watching the game yesterday, it seems like Adrian and Crystal. I think they'll go. I think they'll go top two. Uh, I I I can understand Clements too, so he's up there. But okay, here's what I've noticed, Ben. So think about it. I don't think Quad B really lost anyone, but I don't think they'll be with Mark this year because Mark's doing something. That's why Schwari's captain.
Right.
So the, the electric guitars still have a good core with Dean, Gary, Isaiah, but they also lost. And sorry to be a little bit. Um, I get biased, but me and Dadler were pretty good, so I think that's gonna take a hit.
I don't
The
think that's biased.
birthdays,
That's
I mean,
really good.
they're building up a good. I mean, they have good. I bet birthdays have good chemistry. So I think that'll be dangerous. But if you really look at the teams, Ben, I think this is the quad B guitar reign is going to end this year because if you look at the fellow
yellows,
Caleb Kim, Ian Kim, Elijah Min, and then one out of Clemens, Adrian, or Crystal. If they can, I mean, the only thing that could stop them if they don't get enough people to show up. I don't know what team can handle that, I guess, because I will say that the one game that was probably the closest was with my team last year was the fellow Yellows, and the only reason we won that game was because Ian got sick. That's legitimately the only reason we won. But Ian was shooting the lights out. So I think that I mean, just looking at the draft, and that's interesting. I think it's a good thing. Looking at the draft, there's only most of the teams only need 2 picks. I think that's good for the league, and that people should still stay in. So we'll see how that plays out next year or the following year when people, I don't know I forget how the composition is of seniors and whatever, but I mean, I think my big takeaway from you saying that is that the Yellows are going to be a force this year, and usually it was one of our teams, but I think the new team's going to enter the competition.
And out of all the teams to do it, Reed, it's the one that we've had the most problems with.
Sure. Also, Ben, I think this is a little history fact. This is the first time that we've had the same teams picking in 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
This is. I think that's good.
No, I think you're right about Yellows being good. I think I know who second place is though. If Yellows is the championship, you have to admit, Reed, that the Quad B team is insane. If Crystal goes on to Quad B, you have to admit that it's insane.
I'll see it when they beat the Guitars.
Now we might post this, and Caleb will come out and say, "Oh man, like I gotta get Crystal on my team now." He'll say, "Oh shoot, I need to, listen to what Ben and Reed say." I kind of hope he does. But at the end of the day, Crystal on Quad B would be very cool. I don't think Ishwar will pick Nick Clemens.
I think I do think that this draft seems like it's gonna be a fun one. I mean, it's the first one we're actually watching from the sidelines. That's a little bit of fun, but
yeah,
I mean, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how everything plays out. But I think that's my big prediction. That's gonna be. I'm not gonna guarantee it because I don't want to screw over fellow Yellows, but yeah, no, I think that whoever they get in the draft, as long as they get people who show up, I think they're going to be the favorites. I'm not going to lie. If someone's watching this from the other team, prove me wrong. I want to see some drama.
Jackie said that if I dare predict what she'll do and she does it right, she'll pick Jeremy Mesa first just to prove me wrong.
I can't believe Ben just he's about to turn the whole draft upside down. It's going to be so funny.
I was I actually predicted some of the things she was going to tell me last night. And she was like, "No, I'm picking Jeremy Mason now. Thanks, Ben. Goodbye."
Now we know the mock draft is over. Birthday's picture.
No, yeah, Jeremy, congrats, bro. And Adrian, have fun on the fellow Yellows to win a championship. But legitimately, fellow Yellows quad B right now, what they're without the draft, those two are the championship teams.
I think our biases are showing because I will say fellow Yellows and Guitars.
Yeah,
we'll see when the season goes on. Well, me and Daler didn't have a very good game when we played you guys, and we still beat you. So, Ben, just look at the stats. We beat you guys last year.
You beat us. You beat us good, but
yeah, we beat you. We came back and beat you. So, and the people who were responsible for that are still on the team. So,
yeah, no, not good. If Dean and Mike and Neil play together, that's a good team.
Yeah, Dean
and Isaiah.
Dean, Isaiah, Julia. I think Dean, Isaiah, Julia, and Gary, they're all there. And
Gary. Yeah, Gary's good.
So we're probably going to argue about this.
Yeah, you know we will.
So will we do a Ben, do you have a date for the draft or not?
Let me check. Jackie said it was very soon.
So I think our next podcast will be post-draft, just to see how it goes, and I guess predictions for the season and talking about that. Maybe we can have a captain on. Maybe we can have Jackie on.
We get Adam Silver on, yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? We can get someone on. But I'm trying to think. We're waiting.
Doesn't say.
So, when the draft is, you'll hear it. Follow BBA on Instagram, Band Basketball Association. They post stuff on there.
Yep.
So
I think it's actually this week. Right.
Okay.
The 15th is prom. So I think 16th or 17th. If I
is
remember
that the
correctly.
live entertainment they're doing? They're going to have the BBA draft at prom.
At prom, yeah. I think that's a good idea.
That would be fun.
Get all dressed up. It's the right attire for an NBA draft. So.
Okay. So, I think. Do you have any closing comments, Ben?
Good luck, Crystal. You're gonna win us a championship.
I can't wait for this to blow up in Ben's face. Quad B. I think my closing message to everyone who's getting, if you guys ever see this, but if you guys are watching this, good luck. And I will say, if you don't get drafted, that doesn't mean that you can that your basketball games are done. If anything, you're going to become more important if you're on the reserves, because reserves they're probably going to be used every game. So don't think. So if you're not drafted to a team, you're gonna be able to play for probably all the teams at some point, and you're gonna be probably the most important person there. And to everyone who's drafted, thank you for continuing this tradition that Ben and I started, and hopefully you guys put on a good basketball season. Without that would be cool. So does that conclude the first episode of the Founders Podcast, Ben?
I think it does, Reed. As proud dads, we sign off.
Actually, Band Boomer, get it right.
Boomer. We are Band Boomer and Band Uber signing off for the Founders. We'll see you guys after the draft, and hopefully throughout the BBA season 4 coming this summer.
Okay.